Okay, guys, we are doing this for the 100th time. Just kidding, not 100. It's probably been like 15 times, but you know. So, the crisis event that I chose was the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore that happened March 26, 2024, around 1:30 in the morning. So around that time, the Dolly ship, which crashed into the bridge, it shut down. Shut down due to certain failures that are being investigated. And in that time, as soon as it shut down, the two crew captains who were driving the ship, they sent maydays to the bridge personnel, the crew there, who managed the traffic and everything. And so that gave them the time to clear people from the bridge, prevent cars from going on there. However, unfortunately, the ship, the Dolly, it ended up crashing into a support pillar of the bridge, and the entire bridge just collapsed, flat, straight like this, right into the water. And there were 8 people on that bridge. They were all bridge crew members, and 2 of them were recovered from the water eventually, thankfully still alive, but the other 6 people are presumed dead, and I don't think their bodies have been found. Yes. So there's so many things revolving around this case in terms of politics, legality, international, especially in the financial department. So 2 of the presumed dead workers were from Guatemala, and I think they were here on a working visa. So obviously the government of Guatemala they're upset about it, and that's being investigated on its own. And then there's the fact that the bridge is collapsed. There's just pieces of bridge in the water, so obviously other boats can't sail in and out of that specific harbor. They have to reroute, or they have to hand over their cargo to other ships that are already outside the harbor. There's been a lot of delays that companies are upset about, and yeah. So back in the 1970s, that's when the Francis Scott Key Bridge was built, and it was built for about $60 million. But with today's economy, that price is supposed to skyrocket to 10 times the amount of that, and that's a lot of money. Now think about that, okay? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And Biden expects the federal government to pay that using, our tax money, our funding. Like, I could have sworn our country was in debt, but, we're just using all this money. Yeah, and he expects Congress to just be completely on board about that, but I don't think they quite are. So the question has been, who is at fault for this entire event? And despite Biden offering to pay for the bridge, I'm not sure if that has been approved of or not. The shipping company who owns the Dolly ship is the Synergy Marine Group, who are based in Singapore. And since the collapse of the ship, there hasn't really been much communication to the public regarding it. They've given a quick news release saying that they deeply regret the incident and any problems that it has caused, which is kind of an understatement because, people died. So, yeah, and it's funny because it says they are sorry for the problems it's caused for the people of Baltimore and the region's economy, but it doesn't seem like they are very apologetic about the deaths, which is kind of not nice, They're deeply monitoring the situation, and yeah, it's really tragic. So, guys, I don't know what to talk about. I feel like I covered a lot of the stuff. I think that's a good recap of what's going on about it. A lot of the stakeholders who had cargo on that ship are kind of mad though. When you're driving by and you see those just cargo boxes that say Maersk, I don't know how to say it. It's Maersk. but you know, they have their container cargo boxes everywhere, right? They also sent out a press release, and I don't know, they seemed more apologetic despite them not, you know, piloting the boat. And yeah, there's a rule for shipping companies that if a company has cargo on that boat, and if that boat ever gets into an accident, there's a rule where the stakeholders, the clients, each have to contribute a certain amount of money to help, you know, for repairing damage or structural damage or any accidents that are caused. And there were over 330 shipping containers on the Dali boat. So a lot of those stakeholders are kind of upset about that, you know? So while they have to pay, there's a lot of lawsuits being filed against the operators of the boat, which were all Indian. The entire crew was Indian. Against the owner of the boat, which is the Grace Ocean Private Group, and then there's also the overall company, the Synergy Group. So a lot of lawsuits being on all of them. But that's also funny because the Dali boat itself has been sued in the past. In 2016, Germany, they were too close to the coast, to the harbor, and then their ship was damaged, so they had to wait there for months and get it repaired, which is crazy. Yeah, so in terms of crisis course concepts that could be related, there's honestly a lot. A few that I want to touch on specifically are stakeholder objectives, stakeholder and organization objectives, because for stakeholders, it's like, you know, you want to prioritize your people for them and the organization. So, you know, one of them was reduce, in the book, one of them was less than 10 deaths or something like that. So, like, I mean, I guess they got less than 10 deaths, but that's still I feel like that's hitting a little too low. It's a bit of an understatement there. I think they failed all the financial objectives. They are way past that. They have to pay a lot, and insurance can only cover so much, you know? But there is a Titanic law that might save them, that might save the company from, like, spending so much to, construct the bridge again, which I will talk about in my essay. But, yeah, what else can I talk about, guys? Let's see. I wanted to touch upon in my essay, too, about how important the post-crisis concerns are, mostly because the crisis happened and it was more like there was no pre-crisis. The pre-crisis was the 2 minutes before the ship hit the bridge. The crisis was when the ship actually hit the bridge, and, you know, they were trying to recover people and make sure that, you know, all the crew members were okay. But now it's all post-crisis concerns, pretty much. It's them trying to appease all their stakeholders. It's them trying to salvage the already failing reputation since they've been sued so many times in the past. It's them having to deal with government officials domestically and internationally, especially since the crew was, like, all Indian and they're not from here. Yeah, so, yeah. I think that's pretty much all I can talk about for now. I guess it's just important to have a crisis management team, which I don't think they quite had, because it seems like the way they responded to it, there was just no official public apology or a press where they could hold a question and answer session. It was just, they gave the social media people of the Synergy Group and told them just, like, make a statement online so they didn't have to face anybody. But yeah, going back to objectives, I guess I should talk about one last time. Yeah, the focuses that they will be on the death and safety objectives, mainly providing psychological help and support to the families, and of course compensation to the families too. And then they have to regulate their finances because they're going to lose a lot of revenue. Their value on the market's going to go down. Money is lost. Yeah. So many things. But anyway, my video's almost 10 minutes, so I guess I should end this. Although I think I'll end it on the note that crisis management teams are important, and I'm not sure if the Synergy group even has like a properly functioning one, because we learned that good ones have a variety of members who are skilled in a lot of areas. We have the legal side, social media side, we have finances, and all this stuff are very important for this case scenario because they really hit everything from environmental damage to harming actual human lives. Yeah, there's just a lot to cover here. So I can't wait to write my paper, but yeah. Thanks for listening if you made it 11 minutes into my video. Bye guys.